Hey guys, it's Steve with Prima Coffee here. Today we're going to take a look at the Marzocco GS3 MP. So this is the manual paddle version of the GS3, which is a single group, commercially rated espresso machine that's good for a high-end home setup or something like commercial where you've only got the one group, and even though it has quite a bit of power to it, that's going to limit your production. So good for farmers markets, maybe a small roastery setup, or light duty in a cafe for something like a single origin coffee that you don't use all that often. But again, it is commercially built. It's got all the fine parts from Marzocco that you know and love. Really robust and well-built machine. We also have the newly designed conical valve inside this machine. It's a redesign of the previous MP using a new valve that allows for fairly continuous adjustment of flow rate, which gives you a lot more versatility in terms of how you're pulling your shots, how you're approaching your shots. Again, adjusting that flow rate to either pull out certain different parts of your coffee or use it as a pre-infusion device, or kind of play with pressure, which is somewhat tied to flow rate. And it has a newly designed valve that is going to last a little bit longer, wear a little bit less, and be a bit more reliable, while again also offering you that extra versatility in terms of adjustment during your extractions. So this machine is a dual boiler machine. We have a saturated group head up front. In the back we have a large steam boiler, 3.2 liters. Up front we have a 1.3 liter brew boiler. And then there's a preheat system as well, so all of your water coming into the brew boiler is already heated up, so you'll see more consistent temperature during your extractions. This machine actually does include a reservoir, so again, for those of you who might want to use it at home or in farmers market setups where you don't quite have access to plumbing, you have a 2.5 liter reservoir behind the drip tray. Drip tray capacity is about the same, and then installing drip tray is really easy. You just have two locks on the side. You can pull it out or pop it back in and lock it down. 58 millimeter group, just like Marzocco's other machines. So they're using your standard steel portafilters. You can throw in any baskets that you like. And you've got plenty of options in terms of aftermarket baskets and that sort of thing as well. We also have Cool Touch steam wand. So if you're doing milk drinks and such, even though it's a large and fairly exposed steam wand, you don't really have to worry too much about burning yourself. And we have hot water wand as well for making cappuccinos, teas, what have you. And you can even, there's a mixing valve, so you can kind of dial in the water temperature coming out of the hot water wand. Also included with this machine is a plumbing kit. So you do not have to necessarily run it on the reservoir if you are in a situation where you can plumb it in. Even at home, you could run it off a setup like a flow jet to give it some boost pump pressure and hook it up to the plumbing kit. So when you are pulling shots and using this conical valve, you can have a lot more reliability in terms of how much water you have available to you. Because of the way that the conical valve works, there's a bit of a bypass that kind of goes to the drain while in use. So running it on a plumbing kit will give you a much more steady supply of water, and we would recommend that for probably most setups wherever possible. So getting into that conical valve, the way that this works is as you move the paddle here, you can see that our pressure gauge kind of moves along with it. There's an engagement point where the pump turns on, but there's also a point where water will actually start flowing. And as you move the paddle further over, you're increasing your flow rate to the coffee. So let's say your pump is set to 9 bars maximum. As you move this over, because some of that flow is being kind of shunted off to the drain box, you are reducing your overall flow rate, and to a certain extent, you're reducing your actual extraction pressure as well. So as you play with this, there's kind of a window where you haven't quite hit maximum pressure yet. You haven't quite hit maximum flow to the puck. And that gives you an opportunity to dial in the pressure of your extraction. It's fairly continuous. There's not exactly like a 0 bar setting, but There is fairly low flow, low pressure right at that beginning stage, right before the pump kicks on. And then once the pump kicks on, again, you are still in a fairly restricted flow rate setting. So you have a nice little, probably 10 to 15 degree window where there's very direct manipulation of flow rate to your espresso. And that gives you a lot of options in terms of dialing in. So if you are using a light single origin coffee and you want to pull a longer shot with a higher extraction while kind of manipulating some of the flavor variables there, you have quite a bit of range where you can actually kind of dial in that pressure. It is not quite as repeatable as some other machines might be, just because it is manual. But again, you have a lot of options. This is kind of a dream machine for people who do want to have direct control over their coffee extraction, who want to have a manual influence over how their coffee tastes. So it's a very, very versatile group design in that way for people who do want, again, that very manual kind of approach to coffee. Overall, we've got a really fantastic build quality here. Lots of features to love, and again, it's commercial quality in a package that's also home friendly. So that is the Marzocco GS3 MP. Thanks for watching.